Hi everybody, it's Sally here from Strength Ambassadors and welcome to Strength Ambassadors HQ in Battersea. Today I wanted to talk to you about the mental aspect of lifting, the kind of mindset that you need for lifting. And I want to talk about it this week because actually some things came up on social media, on Twitter and Facebook this week that really got me thinking about this issue and how to put across how important it is. And one of the things that cropped up is that I saw quite a few posts on Twitter about people basically being a little bit negative about their training, saying things like, oh, you know, my squats were crap today and I'm rubbish at lifting and this sort of thing. And one or two of them were humble brags, but even so, it's still quite negative. And so I posted a little quote on Facebook saying, be careful what you say to yourself because your subconscious is always listening, which is true. And one or two people said, well, that's easier said than done, which is true. It is absolutely easier said than done. I totally get where people are coming from, and I used to think that too. But the thing is that it's so important that you really have to do something about it. So I want to explain why it's easier said than done. Like, why is it so difficult to get out of the habit of saying these negative things, because it is, and what you can do about it. So first of all, why is it so hard not to say negative things to yourself? Well, it's because the voice in your head that's saying these negative things is, well, I call it your ego. Some people call it other things. So for example, Dr. Steve Peters, who is the sports psychologist who worked with British cycling in the run up to the Olympics so successfully, he calls it your chimp. And the point about your chimp or your ego or whatever you call it is that it's a part of you and it's a part of your brain, but it's only one part. It's not the whole of you. So there's kind of you, the whole person, and then there's this voice called the ego, which speaks to the rest of you. And the thing about this voice, the ego, is that it's a very, very strong voice. It's very emotional. It's very connected to the emotional part of your brain. So the feelings that it generates are very, very strong. And it's in your conscious brain as well. So you can hear what it's saying. And it's saying these things to the unconscious part of your brain or the subconscious part of your brain. So it's very strong, it's very controlling, and it's quite hard to ignore because that's the way it likes it. And the way I think of it sometimes is like an overly protective parent or an overly protective partner, basically. So it says these things because it thinks that it's trying to keep you safe and protected and keep you close. But actually what it ends up doing is really preventing you from growing and exploring and stepping out of your comfort zone. So if you always listen to the ego, you will always stay within your comfort zone because that's where it wants you. And in order to step out of your comfort zone on a regular basis, you have to, you know, either ignore it or change the tune. That's the only thing you can do. So that's why it's so hard, because the ego wants to keep you under its control and it's trying to keep you safe and it's trying to keep you close. But when you're doing weightlifting or powerlifting or any kind of sport or activity that's got an element of risk in it, you do need to step out of your comfort zone in order to expand it, right? Because when you step out of your comfort zone, that new area then will eventually become your new comfort zone, right? So it's only temporarily uncomfortable, but you need to kind of ignore or change the tune that the ego is playing in order for you to feel able to do that. So there's lots of different methods to do that, but here's one which is surprisingly effective because it's very simple, but it's a real easy one. So I want you to think back to the last time that you heard your ego saying something negative to you It might have been earlier today, it might have been yesterday, it might have been at your last training session. Think of that line, that phrase, and then I want you to completely reverse it, like completely flip it and say the exact opposite to yourself. So for example, if the last negative thing you said was, oh, I was really crap at squats the other day, I want you to say to yourself, I was awesome at squats the other day. I was so good, you know, I lifted that weight, it was really excellent. I think I'm a really good squatter. And once you've said that to yourself, I know, stay with me. Keep saying it. Keep saying it to yourself all day, like actually saying it. So I want you to be able to hear it in your head. And then when you get to the end of the day, see how you feel about yourself. So see if you feel happier. See if you feel braver. See if you feel like you could really take on your next training session and maybe push it a little bit harder. Just see how you feel, because I suspect that the way you'll feel will be the way you felt when your favourite teacher at school praised you, for example, or a really close friend was like really impressed with your achievement. You know, it's not about being, you know, kind of, oh, you can do anything and you're amazing. It's not about that. It's about the kind of, saying to yourself the kind of things that a really good friend or a really good parent or a favourite teacher would say to you. Things that are positive, that are encouraging, that encourage you to look a little bit further, step a little bit further away from where you are now, because that's where we all want to be, right? So try it. Think of the last negative thing you said to yourself, say the opposite, and then keep saying it all day and see how you feel at the end of it. Give it a go and let me know how you get on, if it was successful for you. See you soon. Bye.